Carl Jung once said, "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become." This simple yet profound truth captures the essence of transformation from within. Change does not start with the world, with other people, or with external circumstances. It begins deep in the heart and mind. When you learn to observe your thoughts without judgment, when you embrace the shadow parts of yourself, a subtle shift occurs. Your reactions become calmer, your emotions more balanced, and your perspective on life more expansive. Slowly, the patterns that once caused tension in relationships begin to dissolve. Conflicts that seemed insurmountable lose their grip because you are no longer the same person reacting out of fear or habit. Even the small daily irritations, the frustrations that used to cloud your mind, seem lighter, almost harmless. Your presence radiates a quiet confidence, and others feel it, responding in kind. Opportunities appear, not because the world changed, but because your eyes see possibilities you had overlooked. The energy you carry shifts the tone of your interactions. Love, patience, and understanding flow more naturally. Life becomes a mirror reflecting the inner harmony you cultivate. In this way, Jung teaches us that the true work of transformation is not in controlling the outer world, but in nurturing the inner one. Every gentle choice, every conscious reflection is a step toward freedom. You begin to live in a world that resonates with your renewed soul. By tending to your inner garden, you find that everything around you blossoms too. And perhaps the most beautiful part is realizing that this journey is continuous. Every moment offers a chance to grow, to choose differently, to radiate peace. The world outside may remain unpredictable, but your inner light remains steadfast. As you change within, life itself becomes a reflection of that quiet evolution. Dear everyone, before we continue the program, if you enjoy this topic, please comment number 1. If you'd like me to create more similar content, comment number 2. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any useful videos. Thank you, and wish you all meaningful moments. Have you ever felt trapped in the same patterns, as if life keeps handing you the same challenges over and over again? You try to change your circumstances, to make the people around you act differently, or to control outcomes, but somehow nothing seems to shift. The frustration grows, and sometimes it feels like the world itself is conspiring against you. If this resonates, you are not alone. Many of us spend our lives chasing external solutions, believing that if we just find the right job, the right partner, or the right environment, everything will fall into place. Yet despite all efforts, the dissatisfaction persists. Carl Jung, one of the most profound minds in psychology, offers a different perspective. He reminds us that I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become. His words point to a truth that is both liberating and challenging. The true source of transformation lies not in changing the outside world, but in changing ourselves from within. When we start to explore the depths of our own psyche, we begin to notice patterns of thought, emotion, and behavior that have guided our lives, often unconsciously. These patterns, many of which were formed long ago, continue to shape our experiences, relationships, and even the opportunities we attract. Imagine for a moment that your inner world is like a garden. If the soil is neglected, overrun with weeds of fear, resentment, or self-doubt, nothing else can flourish. You may plant seeds of hope, love, or ambition, but they struggle to grow in an environment dominated by inner chaos. Jung teaches us that the first step toward real change is tending to this inner garden. By observing our thoughts without judgment, embracing our shadows, the parts of ourselves we often deny or suppress, we create a fertile ground for transformation. This journey is not about rejecting reality or ignoring life's difficulties. It is about shifting the lens through which we perceive them. When you change within, everything around you changes as a reflection of that inner transformation. The challenges remain, yes, but your responses, your perceptions, and the energy you bring into each situation shift. You become less reactive, more centered, and more capable of engaging with life from a place of clarity and wisdom. Think about the last time you felt triggered or frustrated. Was it the external event itself, or was it the meaning and emotional energy you attached to it? Jung would argue that our inner reactions often shape the outer reality we experience. By transforming the inner, we alter the dynamics of our relationships, our work, and even the seemingly random circumstances we encounter. Life begins to feel less like a series of obstacles and more like a mirror, reflecting back the harmony or discord within us. In the following sections, we will explore how this profound principle of inner transformation unfolds in everyday life. We will uncover the tools Jung provides for working with the unconscious mind, embracing the shadow self, and cultivating self-awareness. We will see how these practices ripple outward, touching relationships, career paths, personal fulfillment, and even our sense of purpose. By understanding that true change begins within, we open the door to a life of depth, meaning, and authentic alignment. So, if you are ready to stop chasing external solutions and begin the journey inward, join us as we explore the wisdom of Carl Jung. How transforming yourself from the inside can reshape your entire world. This is not a quick fix, nor a superficial shift. It's a profound invitation to step into the life you were meant to live, one conscious choice at a time. 1. Understanding the inner self. To truly understand how changing within can transform your external world, we first need to explore what Carl Jung meant by the inner self. In his work, Jung emphasized that most people live only in the conscious portion of their mind, the thoughts, decisions, and habits they are fully aware of. But beneath this conscious surface lies a vast and intricate realm, the unconscious. It is here that our deepest fears, unresolved wounds, hidden desires, and unacknowledged strengths reside. The unconscious is like a silent river, continuously shaping the flow of our lives, often without our awareness. Many people spend their lives reacting to the currents of this river rather than navigating it consciously. A harsh word from a colleague may trigger an outburst of anger. A minor inconvenience may spiral into anxiety, or repeated patterns in relationships may leave us wondering why we attract the same struggles again and again. These experiences are not random. They are reflections of unresolved aspects of ourselves. Jung called these hidden parts of the psyche the shadow. The shadow is composed of traits, emotions, and memories we have disowned because they felt unacceptable or painful. Perhaps it is anger, jealousy, fear, or even aspects of creativity and joy that were discouraged in childhood. While the shadow is often associated with negativity, it is not inherently bad. In fact, it contains immense potential. By confronting and integrating these hidden parts, we gain access to a fuller version of ourselves, a self that is authentic, resilient, and whole. Integration is the key word here. Jung did not advocate suppressing or ignoring the shadow, nor did he suggest we act recklessly on every impulse. Integration means acknowledging these hidden aspects, understanding their origins, and finding ways to harmonize them with our conscious self. This is how inner change begins. When we bring the unconscious into awareness, we gain choice. Suddenly, reactions that once seemed automatic become conscious decisions. Emotional triggers lose their power, and habitual patterns of thought can be redirected toward growth. Consider the common situation of conflict with others. Many disputes arise not from the situation itself, but from the unconscious projections we place onto others. For example, if you feel insecure about your own worth, you may perceive criticism where none exists, or interpret neutrality as hostility. This is your inner state coloring your perception of the outside world. By examining these projections and tracing them back to their source in the unconscious, you begin to see that the outer conflict is, in many ways, a reflection of an internal imbalance. As you work on yourself, a remarkable thing happens. The external world starts to mirror your internal transformation. Relationships improve, opportunities arise more naturally, and challenges feel less overwhelming. This is not magic. It is the psychological principle that your inner state shapes the lens through which you experience life. By changing the lens, you change the picture. Jung also emphasized the role of self-awareness in this process. Self-awareness is more than knowing your preferences or habits. It is a deep, reflective observation of your own mind and emotions. It requires patience, honesty, and compassion. Meditation, journaling, dream analysis, and reflective dialogue with oneself are all tools that Jung suggested for cultivating this awareness. Dreams, in particular, serve as windows into the unconscious, offering symbolic insights into areas that need attention. Listening to your inner dialogue, observing your emotional reactions, and questioning recurring patterns are all ways to awaken to the inner currents that guide your life. Another aspect of inner transformation is embracing vulnerability. Change from within is rarely comfortable. It often involves facing truths about yourself that you may have avoided for years. You may encounter resistance, doubt, or fear, but these experiences are signs that the inner work is happening. Jung viewed this confrontation with the self as an essential step toward individuation, the process of becoming fully oneself. Individuation is not about perfection, it is about wholeness, accepting both light and shadow, and living in alignment with the deeper currents of your psyche. As you cultivate this inner harmony, you notice subtle shifts in your interactions. You may remain calm in situations that once triggered anxiety. You may communicate more clearly, listen more deeply, and respond rather than react. Others sense this change in you, often unconsciously, and the dynamics around you begin to transform. The world does not necessarily become easier, but your ability to navigate it with grace and clarity increases. The ripple effect of inner change spreads outward, touching every aspect of life: relationships, work, health, and personal fulfillment. Ultimately, Jung's philosophy reminds us that the external world is not an enemy or a puzzle to be solved. It is a mirror reflecting the state of our inner world. When we invest time, attention, and compassion into ourselves, we begin to see evidence of that investment everywhere. Life itself becomes a reflection of the consciousness we cultivate. By understanding the unconscious, integrating the shadow, and nurturing self-awareness, we unlock the potential to shape our experiences, not through control, but through transformation of the self. The journey is ongoing. There is no final destination or moment of perfection. Each step toward self-knowledge, each conscious choice, and each act of inner reflection strengthens the foundation from which your external life unfolds. This is the profound promise of Jung's wisdom. By changing within, you are not merely adjusting your reactions, you are reshaping your world, moment by moment, choice by choice, and insight by insight. 2. Practical paths to inner transformation. Now that we understand the power of inner change and its ripple effects on our external world, the question arises: how do we actually begin this journey? Carl Jung offered us not only the philosophy, but also practical approaches to engage with the unconscious, integrate the shadow, and cultivate self-awareness. These methods are not quick fixes. They are deliberate practices that require patience, honesty, and compassion toward oneself. One of the most accessible practices Jung recommended is self-reflection through journaling. By taking the time to write down your thoughts, emotions, and recurring patterns, you create a mirror for your inner world. The simple act of observing your thoughts on paper can reveal underlying fears, desires, and beliefs that often go unnoticed in the rush of daily life. Journaling helps you notice patterns of thought, perhaps a recurring self-doubt, a habitual worry, or repeated negative judgment toward others. Once these patterns are brought into consciousness, they lose their unconscious power over your actions. You begin to respond with intention rather than react automatically. Another profound tool Jung highlighted is dream analysis. Dreams are the language of the unconscious, speaking in symbols and metaphors. While a dream may seem strange or disconnected from reality, it often reveals hidden truths about your emotional state, unresolved conflicts, or suppressed aspects of yourself. For example, recurring dreams of being lost might indicate feelings of uncertainty in waking life or unresolved inner conflicts. By reflecting on these symbols and considering how they relate to your daily experiences, you gain insight into your inner landscape. Over time, this practice strengthens your connection with your unconscious mind and helps illuminate areas that need attention or healing. Shadow work is another cornerstone of Jungian practice. The shadow, as we discussed earlier, contains parts of ourselves that have been denied or suppressed. Confronting it may feel uncomfortable, even intimidating, but it is also one of the most liberating experiences. Shadow work involves recognizing these hidden aspects without judgment and finding ways to integrate them into your conscious self. For instance, if you notice a recurring pattern of envy or jealousy, instead of suppressing it, you might explore what this emotion is signaling about your unmet needs or aspirations. By acknowledging and understanding these feelings, You reclaim their energy, transforming them from destructive impulses into sources of insight and motivation. Jung also emphasized mindful presence and meditation as pathways to inner awareness. When we are fully present, we are able to observe our thoughts and emotions as they arise without being swept away by them. This practice creates a pause, a space between stimulus and reaction, where conscious choice becomes possible. Daily meditation, even for a few minutes, can gradually increase your capacity to remain centered amidst life's challenges. Over time, this inner stability becomes reflected in your relationships, work, and sense of personal fulfillment. Another subtle but powerful practice is active imagination, which involves engaging creatively with the unconscious mind. This can be done through visualization, drawing, or even dialogue with imagined aspects of the self. By giving form and voice to inner thoughts, feelings, or archetypes, you develop a deeper understanding of your psyche. Active imagination bridges the gap between conscious and unconscious, allowing insights to emerge in ways that mere intellectual reflection cannot achieve. Importantly, Jung reminds us that self-compassion is essential throughout this process. Inner work often uncovers uncomfortable truths, and it can be easy to criticize or resist what we find. Yet true transformation is nurtured through gentleness and patience. Recognize that every fear, every flaw, every moment of doubt is part of the human experience, and that embracing these aspects of yourself is the pathway to wholeness. As you approach yourself with compassion, your inner environment becomes a safe, fertile space for growth. As these practices unfold, subtle changes begin to appear in your external life. Conflicts that once escalated may now dissolve quickly because you respond from a place of awareness rather than reaction. Relationships deepen because you are able to see and understand both your own needs and the perspectives of others. Opportunities arise not because the world has changed, but because your perception of it has shifted. Your presence itself, calm, centered, and aware, becomes a force that transforms interactions and circumstances. It is important to note that this journey is ongoing. Inner transformation is not about achieving perfection or eliminating difficulties from your life. Rather, it is about cultivating a state of consciousness that allows you to navigate challenges with clarity and wisdom. Each moment becomes an opportunity to observe, reflect, and choose differently. Each act of self-awareness, no matter how small, contributes to the larger transformation of your inner world, and by extension, the outer world you inhabit. Jung's teachings remind us that the work of inner transformation is both profound and practical. By integrating these methods, journaling, dream analysis, shadow work, meditation, active imagination, and self-compassion, we gradually realign with our true selves. This alignment radiates outward, influencing how we relate to others, approach challenges, and experience life's possibilities. What may have once seemed like external obstacles often reveal themselves as reflections of inner patterns, waiting to be understood and transformed. In essence, the journey of inner transformation is a journey toward wholeness. Each insight, each conscious choice, each moment of reflection is a step toward living a life that is authentic, meaningful, and deeply connected to the rhythms of the psyche. By embracing Jung's wisdom, we come to understand that the greatest power we possess is not control over external events, but mastery over the inner landscape from which our experiences flow. The world outside is a reflection of the world inside, and as the inner world evolves, so too does the life we inhabit. 3. How inner change transforms relationships. One of the most profound ways that changing within reshapes your world is through the way you relate to others. Relationships, whether with family, friends, colleagues, or partners, often serve as mirrors for our inner state. The energy we carry, the unconscious patterns we harbor, and the level of self-awareness we cultivate all ripple outward, influencing the dynamics we experience with those around us. Carl Jung recognized this, emphasizing that the journey inward inevitably touches the outer world in tangible, meaningful ways. Consider a common scenario. Two people in a relationship repeatedly clash over the same issues. On the surface, it may seem that the other person is the source of conflict. Yet, often the tension stems from unacknowledged aspects of ourselves, the shadow traits, unhealed wounds, or habitual reactions we project onto others. When we confront these internal dynamics, our perception of the relationship shifts. Instead of seeing others as adversaries or obstacles, we begin to notice our own role in the pattern, gaining the power to respond differently. Jung suggested that relationships are one of the most powerful catalysts for self-discovery. Through connection with others, we are confronted with parts of ourselves we may have ignored. A partner's criticism may reveal areas where we are projecting our insecurities. A friend's success may trigger envy that reflects unacknowledged desires within us. By observing these reactions without judgment, we cultivate self-awareness and emotional maturity. This, in turn, transforms the quality of our interactions. Conflict becomes an opportunity for growth rather than a source of frustration, and communication deepens as we approach others from a place of understanding rather than reactivity. As we engage in inner work, journaling, shadow integration, mindfulness, and reflection, our presence in relationships begins to change. There is a calmness, a grounded quality that others intuitively sense. People respond differently to someone who is centered, who does not seek validation from external sources, and who carries the quiet authority of self-awareness. The simple act of becoming more conscious transforms interactions from reactive exchanges into meaningful connections. Trust deepens, misunderstandings are resolved more easily, and relationships begin to flourish on a foundation of authenticity. One of Jung's central ideas is the concept of projection, the unconscious act of attributing our own inner experiences onto others. For example, if we feel unloved or unworthy, we may perceive indifference in those around us, even where none exists. By turning our attention inward and recognizing these projections, we reclaim the energy previously spent blaming or resenting others. The transformation of the inner world directly influences the outer world. Once projections are recognized and integrated, relationships no longer feel like battlegrounds. They become arenas for empathy, growth, and mutual understanding. Changing within also allows us to embrace vulnerability in relationships. Many conflicts and misunderstandings arise because we hide our true selves out of fear of judgment, rejection, or conflict. Inner work builds the courage to express thoughts, feelings, and desires honestly, without relying on manipulation or pretense. When we show up authentically, others are invited to do the same. The dynamic shifts from one of defensiveness and posturing to one of openness and genuine connection. Jung believed that such authenticity is essential for individuation, the process of becoming fully oneself, which unfolds most clearly in the context of meaningful relationships. Another way inner change influences relationships is by altering our emotional resonance. People are sensitive to energy, the subtle signals we emit through tone, body language, and presence. As we cultivate emotional awareness and regulate our responses, we naturally radiate calmness, empathy, and clarity. Even in challenging situations, this grounded energy can de-escalate tension and foster cooperation. Conversely, unresolved inner turmoil or unconscious reactivity tends to provoke conflict, misunderstandings, and stress. By tending to the inner world, we improve not only our own experience but also the quality of life for those around us. Jung's teachings also encourage the cultivation of compassion and forgiveness. When we understand that everyone is navigating their own unconscious patterns, it becomes easier to respond with empathy rather than judgment. Forgiveness, both of self and others, is a natural outcome of this awareness. We recognize that resentment and blame are reflections of our own inner unresolved conflicts, and by releasing them, we free ourselves and enhance our relationships. This is the subtle yet profound way that inner change ripples outward, through empathy, patience, and understanding that transforms even the most challenging interactions. In practical terms, this transformation unfolds gradually. At first, you may notice small changes, a calmer response to criticism, an ability to listen without interruption, a gentle shift in your expectations of others. Over time, these small changes compound. Patterns that once repeated themselves in relationships begin to dissolve. Connections deepen, conflicts are resolved with less effort, and the relationships that persist are those that reflect and honor your inner growth, creating a life more aligned with authenticity and meaning. Ultimately, Jung teaches that changing within is the most effective way to change the world around you. Relationships are not simply external events to be managed. They are mirrors, reflections of our own inner state. By observing, understanding, and transforming our unconscious patterns, we alter the quality of these reflections. The external world, our interactions, connections, and experiences, becomes a living testimony to the depth and harmony cultivated within. Through this process, we realize a profound truth. The power to shape our experiences does not lie in controlling others or circumstances. It lies in the transformation of the inner landscape, in the conscious choice to cultivate awareness, authenticity, and compassion. In doing so, life itself becomes a mirror of the change we nurture inside, revealing that the world outside is a reflection of the world within. 4. Inner transformation and life opportunities. As we continue to explore Carl Jung's wisdom, it becomes clear that inner transformation does not only affect relationships, it profoundly shapes the trajectory of our personal growth, creativity, and the opportunities we encounter in life. When we work inward, observing our thoughts, embracing our shadows, and cultivating self-awareness, we begin to operate from a deeper, more authentic place. This authenticity naturally draws circumstances and experiences that resonate with our inner state. Jung believed that the unconscious mind is not just a repository of hidden fears or unresolved trauma, it is also a source of immense creativity and insight. By engaging with the unconscious through practices like dream analysis, active imagination, or meditation, we tap into a wellspring of ideas, inspiration, and intuition that can guide our personal and professional lives. This creative energy often emerges when least expected, and its flow is amplified when we have nurtured a harmonious inner world. The more we explore and integrate the unconscious, the more we open ourselves to possibilities that were previously invisible or inaccessible. Inner transformation also fosters clarity in decision-making. When our inner world is chaotic, indecision and confusion often dominate. We may feel pulled in multiple directions, overwhelmed by external demands, or unsure about what path aligns with our true self. By cultivating self-awareness and engaging in reflective practices, we gain the ability to distinguish between fleeting impulses, social conditioning, and authentic desires. Decisions made from this place of clarity carry a different energy. They are not reactive or forced, but grounded in self-knowledge and conscious intention. As a result, opportunities begin to manifest naturally, aligning with our deeper purpose rather than superficial expectations. Another aspect of inner growth is the development of resilience and adaptability. Life is unpredictable, and external circumstances are rarely entirely within our control. However, by strengthening our inner resources, self-understanding, emotional balance, and acceptance of the shadow, we become less dependent on external conditions for our sense of stability. Challenges no longer feel like insurmountable obstacles, but as experiences that can be navigated with insight and grace. This resilience allows us to approach opportunities with courage and confidence, even in uncertain or challenging environments. The process of inner transformation also enhances authentic self-expression, a crucial element for personal growth. Many people suppress their unique qualities, opinions, or talents to conform to societal expectations or to avoid conflict. Over time, this suppression can lead to a sense of stagnation or emptiness. Jungian inner work encourages us to embrace the full spectrum of our being, the strengths, passions, vulnerabilities, and even the eccentricities. When we honor and express our true selves, we naturally attract circumstances and people that resonate with this authenticity. Life opportunities begin to align more closely with our true purpose, creating pathways for meaningful work, creative projects, and fulfilling relationships. Inner transformation also reshapes our relationship with failure and success. In a conventional sense, success may be defined by external achievements, accolades, or wealth, while failure is seen as something to avoid. Jung invites us to see success and failure differently, as reflections of our inner alignment. When our choices and actions are rooted in self-awareness and authenticity, even perceived failures carry valuable lessons and insights. Each experience becomes a stepping stone for growth, allowing us to refine our understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. By changing our perspective inwardly, we transform the very meaning of success in our lives. Another powerful effect of inner transformation is the enhancement of intuition. The more attuned we become to our inner world, the more sensitive we are to subtle signals from our environment, our relationships, and our own inner guidance. Decisions begin to arise not only from rational analysis, but also from a deep instinctive understanding of what is in alignment with our authentic self. Opportunities that once felt random or elusive now appear as natural extensions of our inner work. Our ability to sense and act on these opportunities grows as our consciousness expands. Jung also emphasized the importance of embracing life as a continuous process of becoming. Inner transformation is not a destination, it is a journey. Every insight, every moment of self-reflection, every conscious choice contributes to the evolution of the self. As we evolve internally, life presents new opportunities that are attuned to our expanded awareness and capacity. This cyclical relationship, where inner growth attracts external possibilities, which in turn foster further inner growth, illustrates the profound interconnectedness between the inner and outer worlds. It is essential to recognize that patience and persistence are critical on this journey. Inner transformation is gradual, often subtle, and requires consistent attention. Small daily practices, observing thoughts, integrating shadows, nurturing creativity, meditating, and reflecting, compound over time. These small, persistent efforts build a foundation for lasting change that extends into every corner of life. By committing to this inner work, we create a life that is not merely reactive to circumstances, but actively shaped by conscious intention and self-knowledge. In summary, the inner work that Carl Jung advocates serves as the catalyst for personal growth, creative expression, and meaningful opportunities. By cultivating self-awareness, integrating the shadow, nurturing authenticity, and embracing the unconscious, we not only transform ourselves, but also the world we inhabit. Life becomes a mirror of our inner state, reflecting the clarity, depth, and alignment we cultivate within. The journey inward is, in essence, the most effective way to shape the outer world, allowing us to live a life rich with purpose, creativity, and possibility. 5. Emotional resilience and mental well-being through inner transformation. As we continue exploring the profound wisdom of Carl Jung, it becomes clear that inner transformation not only reshapes relationships and life opportunities, but also has a powerful impact on emotional resilience and mental well-being. Emotional resilience, the ability to navigate life's ups and downs with composure and balance, is largely cultivated from within. Jung's teachings reveal that the more we understand and integrate our inner world, the more stable and adaptable our emotional life becomes. At the core of this process is self-awareness. By observing our thoughts, feelings, and habitual reactions, we gain insight into the unconscious patterns that often trigger emotional turbulence. For example, a sudden rush of anxiety or irritation may not truly originate from the current situation, but may be a resurfacing of an old and unresolved emotional experience. Recognizing this allows us to pause, reflect, and respond consciously rather than react automatically. Each act of observation strengthens our emotional intelligence, gradually increasing our capacity to remain centered even in challenging circumstances. Jung emphasized the importance of acknowledging and integrating the shadow as a key component of emotional resilience. The shadow contains not only suppressed fears, anger, or jealousy, but also untapped strengths, creativity, and vitality. Many emotional difficulties arise because we deny or avoid these aspects of ourselves, allowing them to influence our behavior unconsciously. By embracing the shadow, we reclaim these energies and transform them into sources of insight and stability. A person who has integrated their shadow may still feel anger or fear, but they are no longer controlled by it. The energy that once fueled impulsive reactions can now be channeled into constructive action or self-understanding. Mindfulness and meditation are also essential tools in this journey. Jung recognized the value of cultivating presence, observing the mind without judgment, and creating space between stimulus and response. Daily mindfulness practices help regulate emotions, reduce stress, and enhance clarity. As we become more present, we notice the subtle shifts in our emotional landscape, recognizing that feelings are temporary, fluid, and often symbolic of deeper truths. This awareness allows us to navigate life's challenges with calmness and intentionality, rather than being swept away by reactive waves of emotion. Another aspect of emotional resilience involves reframing challenges as opportunities for growth. Jung suggested that life often presents obstacles not to punish us, but to reveal aspects of the self that require attention and integration. A difficult relationship, a career setback, or a personal loss can become a doorway into self-discovery when approached with conscious reflection. By viewing adversity through this lens, we cultivate a sense of inner strength that is not dependent on external circumstances. Resilience is not about avoiding pain. It is about learning to navigate it skillfully and with awareness. Jung also highlighted the role of symbolic work and active imagination in fostering emotional balance. Engaging creatively with inner symbols through art, visualization, or dialogue with archetypes allows emotions to be expressed and understood in ways that transcend logic. For instance, recurring dreams or imagined dialogues with inner figures can illuminate hidden fears, desires, or conflicts. By confronting these symbolic representations, we gain insight into emotional patterns and can consciously choose healthier ways of relating to ourselves and the world. Self-compassion is another cornerstone of mental well-being. Inner transformation requires patience and kindness toward oneself. When emotional challenges arise, the tendency is often to judge or criticize ourselves. Jung reminds us that compassion toward our own psyche is essential for growth. By treating ourselves with the same care we would offer a close friend, we create a nurturing internal environment that supports emotional stability and mental clarity. This compassionate stance reduces self-criticism, alleviates anxiety, and strengthens our capacity to respond to life with wisdom and grace. Inner work also cultivates detachment from external validation. Much of human distress comes from the need for approval, fear of judgment, or comparison with others. As we turn inward and cultivate alignment with our true selves, we rely less on external conditions for emotional stability. Our sense of self-worth becomes grounded in internal understanding rather than fluctuating circumstances. This shift reduces anxiety, fosters confidence, and enhances overall mental well-being. A subtle but profound effect of inner transformation is the development of equanimity, a balanced mind that can remain calm in the face of both success and adversity. Equanimity does not imply apathy or disengagement. Rather, it is the ability to engage fully with life without being overwhelmed by emotions. By integrating the unconscious, practicing mindfulness, and cultivating self-compassion, we gradually strengthen this inner equilibrium. Emotional turbulence becomes less frightening, and challenges are met with a grounded, thoughtful response. Jung's approach to emotional resilience also underscores the importance of continuous inner work. There is no final state of perfection. Rather, emotional and mental well-being is an evolving process, shaped by ongoing self-reflection, shadow integration, and conscious choice. Each day presents opportunities to observe, learn, and adapt, creating a compounding effect that strengthens resilience over time. The more consistent our inner practice, the more naturally our outer life reflects this balance, harmony, and stability. Ultimately, Jung's wisdom teaches that emotional resilience and mental well-being are byproducts of inner transformation. By cultivating awareness, embracing the shadow, practicing mindfulness, engaging creatively with the unconscious, and approaching ourselves with compassion, we develop a profound stability that extends into every aspect of life. As our inner world evolves, the challenges of the external world no longer dominate or define us. Instead, life becomes a mirror reflecting the harmony, clarity, and depth we cultivate within. Through this lens, we realize a simple but powerful truth. By changing within, we not only navigate life with greater ease, but also radiate a presence that positively influences the world around us. Emotional resilience, mental clarity, and well-being are not external gifts. They are cultivated from the inside out, a testament to the enduring wisdom of Carl Jung. 6. Cultivating a life of purpose and meaning. As we move deeper into Carl Jung's wisdom, one of the most profound effects of inner transformation becomes clear: the ability to live a life of purpose, meaning, and alignment. Many people wander through life feeling disconnected, as if their days are dictated by circumstance rather than conscious choice. They may achieve success by external measures, yet still feel a subtle emptiness, a quiet sense that life is happening to them rather than through them. Jung teaches us that the remedy is not found outside, but within. True alignment emerges when we cultivate self-awareness, integrate the shadow, and listen deeply to the unconscious. Purpose, in Jungian terms, is not merely a goal or ambition. It is the unfolding of one's authentic self, the conscious manifestation of the deeper self that has been shaped, refined, and illuminated through inner work. When we invest in understanding our thoughts, emotions, patterns, and hidden potentials, we begin to recognize the unique contribution we are meant to make in the world. This recognition is not imposed by society or expectation. It emerges naturally from the alignment between our inner truth and our actions in the outer world. Inner transformation illuminates authentic desires and passions. Often, people pursue paths dictated by social norms, family expectations, or external pressures, only to discover later that these paths do not resonate with their true selves. By observing the inner landscape, integrating suppressed aspects of the psyche, and cultivating mindful awareness, we uncover what genuinely inspires and fulfills us. Whether it is creative expression, teaching, healing, leadership, or any other calling, aligning our actions with these authentic impulses creates a sense of purpose that is both energizing and sustainable. Jung also emphasized the importance of meaning-making in everyday life. Life is not solely composed of grand achievements. It is lived in the quiet, often overlooked moments. By bringing conscious attention to the ordinary, our thoughts, relationships, and daily tasks, we can infuse even simple experiences with meaning. When our inner state is harmonious and aware, mundane activities become opportunities for growth, connection, and self-expression. A task done with presence and authenticity carries more weight than 1,000 accomplishments achieved without inner engagement. Another way inner transformation shapes a life of purpose is by fostering alignment with core values. When we are unaware of our inner truths, our actions may conflict with our deepest beliefs, creating tension, dissatisfaction, and even self-betrayal. Through introspection and shadow integration, we clarify what matters most, what is non-negotiable in terms of integrity, ethics, and personal vision. Aligning daily actions with these values creates coherence in life, a sense of integrity that resonates outward and influences every decision we make. Inner work also nurtures courage and authenticity, essential ingredients for living a purposeful life. Often, fear or self-doubt prevents us from pursuing paths aligned with our inner calling. By exploring the unconscious, confronting the shadow, and cultivating self-compassion, we develop the inner courage to face uncertainty and embrace our unique path. This courage allows us to act with authenticity, even when external circumstances are challenging or when social pressure encourages conformity. Purpose thrives when fear is transformed into conscious action, rooted in self-knowledge. Jung further suggests that living with purpose involves integration of opposites. Life is rarely straightforward, and our inner world often contains contradictions, strengths paired with vulnerabilities, confidence intertwined with fear, light alongside shadow. Purpose emerges when these seemingly conflicting elements are acknowledged and harmonized. For instance, the capacity for empathy may coexist with assertiveness. Creativity may coexist with discipline. By integrating these opposites within ourselves, we create a more holistic foundation for meaningful action. One of the most striking outcomes of this inner work is a sense of flow and alignment in life. As we cultivate clarity, authenticity, and awareness, opportunities, relationships, and experiences begin to align with our inner truth. Choices feel less forced, obstacles become instructive rather than obstructive, and life seems to move in a rhythm that resonates with our inner self. The outer world reflects this alignment, reinforcing the truth that when we change within, everything around us naturally responds. Moreover, inner transformation fosters service and contribution, an essential component of a meaningful life. Jung believed that individuation, the process of becoming fully oneself, does not occur in isolation. The more we embody authenticity, insight, and integration, the more we are able to contribute positively to the lives of others. Purpose is often intertwined with how we affect the world, whether through mentorship, creative expression, community engagement, or simple acts of kindness. By aligning with our inner self, our contributions are natural, impactful, and deeply fulfilling. Ultimately, the journey toward purpose and meaning is ongoing and evolving. Jung reminds us that life is a continuous process of becoming. Each moment of reflection, each act of self-awareness, Each choice made in alignment with inner truth adds to a life that is rich, coherent, and deeply satisfying. Purpose is not a distant destination. It is the conscious unfolding of the self, expressed moment by moment, action by action, and insight by insight. In essence, by changing within, we awaken to a life of authenticity, alignment, and meaning. We gain the clarity to act with intention, the courage to express our true selves, and the awareness to navigate life with insight and grace. The external world, our relationships, opportunities, and experiences, becomes a reflection of this inner alignment. Through Jung's wisdom, we come to understand that the path to a purposeful life is not found in control over circumstances, but in conscious cultivation of the self, where every moment becomes an opportunity to live fully and authentically. 7. Reflective conclusion, the ripple of inner change. As we reach the culmination of our journey through Carl Jung's wisdom, it is essential to pause and reflect on a profound truth. The changes we cultivate within ourselves ripple outward, subtly yet powerfully shaping every aspect of our lives. The journey of inner transformation is not a linear path. It is a continuous process of self-discovery, integration, and conscious choice. Each step inward, every moment of reflection, awareness, and self-compassion creates a shift that resonates far beyond the confines of our own minds. Consider the analogy of a pebble dropped into a still pond. The ripple spreads outward, touching areas far from the initial point of impact. Similarly, when we nurture our inner world, the clarity, calmness, and authenticity we cultivate inevitably extend into the external world. Our relationships, work, creativity, emotional stability, and life opportunities begin to reflect the alignment and harmony achieved within. Jung's philosophy illuminates this principle. By changing ourselves, we are in effect changing the world around us, not through control or force, but through conscious evolution of the self. This transformation begins with awareness. The simple act of observing our thoughts, emotions, and reactions allows us to identify patterns that have unconsciously influenced our behavior. Awareness is the first step toward freedom. It reveals the mechanisms by which the unconscious has shaped our experience and provides the clarity to choose differently. Through journaling, meditation, reflection, and dream analysis, we cultivate a deeper understanding of our inner landscape, gradually uncovering the shadows that have remained hidden and learning to integrate them into the whole self. Integration of the shadow is perhaps one of the most transformative aspects of Jungian psychology. Our shadow contains both the traits we disown and the energies we have yet to access fully. By embracing it, we reclaim lost aspects of ourselves. Anger becomes assertiveness, fear becomes discernment, vulnerability becomes authenticity, and suppressed creativity becomes expression. This process is not always comfortable. It requires courage, honesty, and patience. Yet the reward is immense, a self that is more whole, grounded, and capable of engaging with life authentically. Inner transformation also cultivates emotional resilience and mental well-being. By observing, understanding, and integrating our emotions, we build a stable inner foundation that remains steady amidst life's inevitable challenges. Emotional turbulence becomes an opportunity for insight rather than a source of suffering. Mindfulness, reflection, and self-compassion allow us to navigate difficulties with clarity and balance. Jung reminds us that our internal state is the lens through which we perceive the world. By refining that lens, we experience life with calmness, depth, and insight. Another remarkable effect of inner change is the transformation of relationships and interactions. The energy we carry, the patterns we project, and the authenticity we cultivate shape how we connect with others. Conflicts that once escalated may now dissolve quickly. Misunderstandings are met with empathy, and bonds deepen because they are rooted in genuine understanding rather than reaction or expectation. As we transform within, our presence becomes a stabilizing force, and the quality of our relationships naturally improves. The world around us responds to the harmony and clarity we have cultivated internally. Life opportunities and personal growth are also profoundly influenced by inner work. By engaging deeply with the unconscious, integrating the shadow, and aligning with our authentic self, we unlock creativity, intuition, and insight. Decisions arise with greater clarity, and paths that were previously invisible begin to emerge. Challenges are no longer obstacles, but invitations to grow, to learn, and to embody our fullest potential. Inner alignment attracts experiences and circumstances that resonate with our true selves, creating a life that feels coherent, purposeful, and deeply fulfilling. At the heart of Jung's philosophy is the understanding that purpose, meaning, and authenticity are cultivated from within. By attending to the inner world, we awaken to our unique calling, express our passions authentically, and act in alignment with our values. Life becomes a reflection of the self we nurture, where clarity, courage, and consciousness inform every choice. The external world mirrors the inner work we undertake, demonstrating that transformation is not only personal, but profoundly interconnected with the world around us. As we conclude this exploration, it is important to remember that inner change is a continuous journey. There is no final endpoint, no moment of ultimate perfection. Each day presents new opportunities for reflection, awareness, and growth. Each challenge becomes a teacher, each relationship a mirror, and each experience a doorway into deeper self-understanding. Jung's wisdom encourages us to embrace this ongoing process with patience, curiosity, and compassion. Ultimately, the power to shape our lives lies not in controlling circumstances or bending the world to our will, but in cultivating the inner landscape from which our experiences emerge. As we change within, life itself transforms, subtly, profoundly, and beautifully. The harmony, clarity, and authenticity we develop radiate outward, touching relationships, work, creativity, and opportunity, creating a world that reflects the evolution of the self. So take a moment to look inward, observe, reflect, and embrace the shadows. Nurture your inner garden with patience, awareness, and compassion. Every step you take in self-discovery is a ripple that reshapes your world, reminding us of Jung's timeless truth. When you change within, everything changes around you. The journey is yours to begin, continue, and unfold. With each conscious choice, your life transforms in alignment with the depth and authenticity of your inner self. As we reflect on the journey through Jung's wisdom, it becomes clear that the inner world is not a hidden domain separate from our daily life. It is the very foundation from which everything else flows. Every insight, every act of self-awareness, every moment we integrate the shadow or embrace our authentic self sends ripples into the world around us. Relationships, opportunities, creativity, and even the challenges we face are reflections of the harmony, clarity, and growth we cultivate within. This is the timeless lesson. By changing inside, we change everything outside, shaping a life of purpose, meaning, and authenticity. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the depths of the psyche and the transformative power of inner change. Remember, the path to self-discovery is ongoing. Each reflection, each mindful choice, and each embrace of your shadow brings you closer to living a life aligned with your true self. If this video resonated with you, we invite you to like, share, and comment below with your thoughts or experiences of inner transformation. Don't forget to subscribe to Galactic Wisdom and hit the notification bell so you won't miss future insights that illuminate the mind, the soul, and the universe around us. Until next time, nurture your inner world, embrace the journey, and remember, when you change within, everything changes around you. Farewell, and may your path be guided by wisdom, presence, and authentic growth.